Hey, everybody. I want you to listen to something today. This is funny stuff. Really funny stuff.
I know my husband, the president, had a great call yesterday with the governor and the mayor, and they're working together to make it peaceful and without riots. I'm against the violence, so if you protest in peace. And we need to unify in this time.
You guys recognize her, right? That's Melania Trump. She's telling everybody we need to protest in peace. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. Let's talk about that a little bit. Now, the whole purpose of these rallies, right, is to help illegal immigrants because they're, and actually to stop people who are documented here from being pulled out and stop American citizens from being arrested and put in jail until somebody figures out they're actually Americans. You know, she wants to stop. Let's look at what she said. She wants to stop. I just want to go. I don't want to misquote her here or anything. She urged peaceful protesting. I'm calling for. If you didn't hear it, she says, "I'm calling for unity. I'm calling for unity. I know my husband, the president, had a great call yesterday." She says, "I'm calling for unity." Well, that's interesting. I mean, has she not been listening to her husband the last couple months, calling for unity? I mean, you kind of miss. Lonnie, I think you missed the boat on that. I think your husband missed the boat. It's actually probably the only boat this year that he actually missed. The rest of them, he's blown up in the middle of the ocean for whatever reason. We still don't know. No evidence there. But he missed this boat, the unity boat. He actually talks about how he wants to annihilate his enemies, right? And Tim Walz up in Minnesota, the governor there, that's his enemy. We know that, right? So that's what this is about. But let's go on. I know my husband, the president, had a great call yesterday with the governor and the mayor, and they're working together to make it peaceful and without riots. First of all, those weren't fucking riots. Well, sorry, I don't want to cuss at you. Those weren't riots. Those were protests. They're not rioters. They're not domestic terrorists. They're protesters. It's a First Amendment right. I know when you got your status as a citizen, you probably missed that test, or maybe somebody took it for you, but we're allowed to, in this country, we're allowed to protest peacefully. And that's pretty much what it's been. The only time it hasn't been that way is when your husband's friends, the ones in the helmets and those big brown vests, were shooting at people, shooting them in the head, killing them, spraying them with pepper spray, bear spray, things like that. Hitting them with clubs, dragging them out of trucks, dragging them out of cars, putting them on the pavement, stomping their heads, kicking them in the face, right? Taking old men out of their homes with no clothes on. No, those were people who were being detained by your husband's little friends, the ICE guys, right? So yeah, I think you're misinterpreting what was going on there. Let's keep going. I'm against the violence. I'm against the violence, she said. You know what's weird? You haven't been around very long. I mean, for as long as you've been in the White House, we haven't seen you much at all. In fact, the day that the gentleman in Minnesota was killed, when he was peacefully protesting with his phone out, you were having your world premiere. So I know you went on. I checked out your Instagram today with your 4.2 million followers and all that stuff. This is what your page has. That's your premiere right there. Look at that. That's your premiere. That's what you're thinking about today. That's what you're worried about. You're worried about your movie sales. You don't give a shit about these people. You didn't repost that on your page, as far as I can tell. If it's a reel, I missed it. Maybe I'm wrong. But on your actual page where you're promoting yourself, nothing about peace, really. It's about you and your husband at your film premiere on the day a guy was shot and killed by his friends, by your husband's friends, right? The one he tells that they don't need warrants anymore, the federal judicial warrants to go in people's homes. Do you remember that move about a week ago? Immigration offers. This is an Associated Press story. I like to quote the Associated Press. Good news organization for breaking news. One of the best. Federal immigration office asserting sweeping power to forcibly enter people's homes without a judge's warrant. That doesn't sound peaceful, does it? Doesn't sound peaceful on your husband's part, going in against the Fourth Amendment without a judicial warrant. Their lawyers just made this shit up. So now they're against the First Amendment, people peacefully protesting. They're spraying them with pepper spray, and they've been using these sound machines to disorient them, and then they've been shooting with pepper balls and shooting them in the head. We can't forget the shooting them in the head part. That happens too, apparently. And then they just go in their homes without a warrant, without a judge's warrant, which is against the Fourth Amendment. So they're against the First Amendment, they're against the Fourth Amendment, and now we found out they're actually against the Second Amendment. Remember that one all your husband's friends love so much, where they're allowed to carry their guns in public and brandish them in public and wear them around their chest like they're MEAL Team 6. All those guys, you fought like hell for that. Your daddy fought like hell for that. Daddy Trump fought like hell for that. The NRA is fighting like hell for that. And all these conservative people who spent all their time on the range, all these guys are now ICE officers now. They fought like hell for it. But now suddenly, a guy who had a legal license to carry a weapon, who never brandished it, never took it out, never threatened anybody with it. He was threatening with that phone. His phone is very, what we're realizing is they're actually worried about this weapon more than any weapon, because this is the one that gets them into trouble, right? This one. Because when they shoot somebody with a weapon, then they blame the guy they shot. And Kristi Noem and Bavino and all those folks came out. Kash Patel, I thought he was a Second Amendment guy, but apparently you're not allowed to have a weapon. So all these guys who, for the last 20 fucking years of my life, have been claiming you can carry one anywhere you want as long as it's in public and you have the proper licensure, they all don't agree with that. The FBI doesn't agree with it. It's only good for your husband's friends to have the weapons. Yeah. So, but let's talk about you, because this thing isn't about, I think the public is wanting to focus on people like Tom Homan, who is in Minneapolis today. Let's talk about Tom a little bit. This is supposed to be a softer approach. They're going to pull a lot of ICE agents out. It's going to have a softer approach since Bavino's not there anymore with his little man's disease and his helmet and his flak vest and all his friends surrounding him to protect him. He's coming in. This guy, Tom Homan, remember him? He's supposed to be he's the one who allegedly, we don't know, he won't answer questions about it, took $50,000 in cash. And then when he got in office, Trump's DOJ under Pam Bondi made that whole thing go away. Went away. So he's the honest one we're supposed to trust now, right? When he says he's going to do something up there. Well, we'll just take him at his word. Because back in December, just about a month ago, here's what he said. They're calling it the biggest deportation operation in the history of the nation. Okay? He said his effort is only beginning and warned that far more aggression is coming, declaring, you ain't seen nothing yet. So that's what we're supposed to think, right? He's going in there to settle things down. He's going to work with the state and the county officials and city officials to calm things down. This is what he said in December. Do you really think that they're going to back off? You really think they're going to back off? We haven't heard much from this person, have we? Remember her? Dog killer? We haven't heard much from her. She apparently doesn't get along very well with Tom Homan, but Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, I mean, these are her people, right? She's expected to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee in March. So 2 months from now, we're going to hear from her about these sorts of things. She'll do the same thing she always does. She doesn't really answer any questions. She just gets up there and blames people. I don't expect she'll be here by March, frankly. I think she'll be gone by March. But we can take her at her word, right? She's an honest, nice person. She has empathy, shooting her dogs and stuff. But let's talk about you, Melania, a little bit. You want everybody to have unity. And the cruelty that's been going on in Minnesota against the citizens there, you just finally came out. They brought you out to say this. To me, that screams of serious desperation on the part of your husband, right? You don't come out for anything. You barely come out for Christmas tree signings or lightings. You might come out when the new ballroom gets up in about 3 years before he leaves office. If he leaves office, never know. You might come out then. But what we do know, and I try to keep reminding people this, you have sympathy for the immigrants, right? You're an immigrant yourself. And then your illegal immigrants, you have a lot of sympathy for. I wonder why. Could it be that this AP story can illuminate a little bit, the one from 2016, right? Which talked about how you were getting paid for modeling gigs when you're here on a tourist visa, which is illegal. You're an illegal alien with US citizenship. They could strip your citizenship for that. I understand why. I mean, it's well documented for people who want to go back and read it. Melania Trump modeled in the US prior to getting a work visa. Nobody disputed that story. You know, your husband disputes every story, sues everybody. He doesn't like the story that comes out. He didn't sue the AP. Wonder why that is. Wonder why that is. Don't want to bring too much attention to that one, do you? That you were here illegally and you got citizenship through false pretenses. Of course you have some sympathy for these poor immigrants, especially the illegal ones, right? Because you're one yourself. To those folks who think this administration is going to start being softer on things, and because he had a phone call with Tim Walz, he's suddenly going to be a nice guy. This is a reset button. They're trying to figure out what they can get away with. Stephen Miller's got a new plan he's trying to put in place. Tom Homan's going to do it for him. Bovino hasn't even been fired as far as I understand. He's just gone. We don't really know where he is, what he's going to be doing. He'll be doing something. Meanwhile, in Texas, about a year ago, there was this guy named James Rodden. Now, this story was written by Stephen Monticelli. Stephen Monticelli did this wonderful piece for the Texas Observer. So I want to give him props. It's a really well thought out, well researched piece. And just in January 13th of this year, Stephen, actually the Observer broke this story a while back that this guy named James Rodden is an assistant counsel for Immigrations and Custom Enforcement for ICE. He sits in immigration court and throws people out of the country. And it was brought to Congress's attention last year that this guy was a white nationalist, And so Congress stepped in, made a complaint, and here's what ICE had to say about it at the time. He had this account with 17,000 followers that was linked to him. It was an X account. It was called Glomer Responder. And it's now private, but it wasn't back then. On September 28th, 2025, the account responded to a question, can anyone point me to exactly where America started going downhill? And he said, November 6, 1860, the date President Lincoln ended slavery and was elected. So they've linked a bunch of other wonderful conversation pieces to him, including that migrants are all criminals. This is a guy that's in charge of ICE immigration enforcement, assistant counsel, throwing people out of the country. All migrants are criminals. All blacks are foreign to my people. These are direct quotes. In addition to him praising Adolf Hitler. So they made complaints against him, and ICE responded as any great government agency would back in the day. He was sent to their up for investigation by the Office of Professional Responsibility, OPR. And they said at the time they understand the seriousness of the allegations and will ensure the allegations are addressed appropriately, fairly, and expeditiously. And that typically OPR, administrative investigations, are completed within 120 days. So that time went by. Nobody heard from him. And there he is. Look at him with his badge. He went back to work the other day. Went back to work. Look at him. They wouldn't let the reporter in the news or in the immigration court. They chucked him out. But when he came out, they got a picture of him wearing his prosecutor's badge. Isn't that interesting? So we're supposed to fucking believe that these guys are going to be softer? No. They're full of these people. They're full of these people. They're not going to be softer on anybody who's an immigrant or brown-skinned or anything, unless their name is Melania, in which case that one will just go away. But I'm not letting it go away. I'm going to keep reminding people that she violated her visa when she first came to this country. And when you violate your visa and use that information to get another visa, a genius visa, because we know she's a genius, especially that 25-second release she released today by video, if there was anything that screams genius, it's that. It's that. But I'm going to leave you with one last thought. You remember these two terrible shootings that happened in Minneapolis? These two wonderful people shot, killed. Do you remember this? January 23rd, 2016. I want you to remember this. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters. Okay? Trump remarked at a campaign stop in Sioux City, Iowa. It's like incredible, he said. And that's what they've done. They've shot two people and killed them. How many ICE people have been shot and killed by these domestic terrorists? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Okay. That's all I got to say for today. Melania, thank you so much for your message of peace. It's great to see you get back involved in helping your husband solve the problems of this country. You know, the unity train, we're all over it. Let's be unified. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You missed that. You missed that boat, babe. You really have. You missed it. And your husband's never been on it. And he never will be, despite a phone call he made to Tim Walz. Nobody buys that. You know that, right? You know he lies. I mean, you sleep not in the same bed anymore, but the same room. Maybe not that either. Maybe in a different room, different bed. But you got his money, so like you're still with him, right? But thank you for the unity message. We're looking forward to more unity messages from you, First Lady. It's amazing. We're so lucky to have you. Hey, say hi to Donald tonight if you see him. I don't know if he's coming home or whatever he's doing. But thanks very much for jumping in and helping everybody understand what we're dealing with in Minneapolis. Oh, that whole don't carry a gun to a protest thing. Good luck when you guys send your ICE people to Philadelphia. The Black Panthers are waiting for you with the M4s and the shotguns. Oh man, what's Kash Patel going to say then, huh? Let's make bets as to whether you're really going to go there or not, right? Good luck, everybody. Hey, thanks for listening.